Hi, everybody. Whoa, this microphone is way too big for this size of audience. We could just make this a meeting. All right, so would love to kind of share a little bit about what's going on in our world lately. And my name is Frank Lee. I oversee the independent agency team here at Snap, and so our team supports Tenuity. They're a great partner of ours. And the message or the topic that I'll go through today is a different angle into marketing solutions, and it's this idea that there's a lot of unread messages in this like dense, highly engaged chat-based environment. And what we're seeing is there's a lot of unlocked growth potential across this environment. All right, so quick show of hands. Just give it to me straight. Show of hands, how much harder is it to do growth marketing today than say like 10 years ago? Like, is it harder or easier right now? Harder? Give me one. Give me a little something. All right, thank you. Yes, that is right. So, like, the thing that I always say is 10 years ago, you can get 4 out of 10 things right and still make a ton of money. Now, you got to execute 8 out of 10 things right. And, like, it's just harder to come by. Even if you do all the best practices, you deploy all the budgets, you go across all the right platforms, it does seem like it takes twice as more effort to get the same amount of conversions. Right? Am I right? So I think there's 3 primary reasons why that's the case. Number one, auctions are just saturated. There's just so many advertisers all vying for the same space. It's super competitive, and as a result, CPMs are through the roof. Like, they're just astronomical nowadays, all right? The cost of entry. The second piece is creative fatigue. Like, what used to last for a few weeks now fatigue's a matter of days. And like the velocity there to try and keep up is dizzying, right? And as a result, CACs are going up. Everybody I talk to, they all say, yes, we still spend the majority of our budgets on Meta. Yes, it's a volume driver, but it's nowhere near an efficiency play. And that's just kind of the world that we live in right now, right? And so we're in this like weird place where like brands are more visible than ever, yet they're just less remembered in this crowded space, and therefore performance is fatigued or plateaued. So if growth feels harder, let's talk about why. So for years, everybody seemed to be running the same media plans, which is basically put it in the feed. Just put it in the feed, right? And most of our performance budgets, our time and effort around optimization, all resided around this traditional feed-based platforms. And to be fair, the feed was amazing. It was really, really good. It was novel, and it really did have its moment. It truly was the center of gravity during like the digital marketing era during the peak times. A lot of cheap inventory, good reach. The auctions kept getting better and better, right? But to be fair, it's changed quite a bit. It's actually the consumer behavior and the way that people use feeds has changed faster than performance media plans have. Today, fast scrolling and half watching is kind of the what happens. The average person watches 300 feet of content a day off of their phone. Like, think about that. That's crazy. It's the size of the Statue of Liberty. Like, I used to work at Facebook, and like in 2016, we used to say that. And we thought that was a good thing. But if you think about it from a marketer standpoint, that's really hard to stand out. Because literally you're flying through so much content, you're flying through so many posts that, you have a split second to get somebody's attention. And then also just don't forget the fact that consumers are just really good about tuning out ads. When they sniff an ad out, especially the younger generation, for example, they just scroll right past it, right? So we're spending more time and more money in the same crowded feeds, but the attention is getting thinner and thinner. And so that's the gap. Advertising is evolving from this idea of broadcast to intimacy, but the performance plans are still stuck in this broadcast mode. So instead of asking, how do I get another message into the feed? I think a better question is, where's the attention at? Where's the attention going? And how do I evolve my growth strategy to adapt to that attention? Another thing I think is worth noting, this isn't just feed fatigue. It is fundamentally a consumer behavior shift. Conversations are moving from public to private, from posting to messaging, and from broadcasting to intimacy. And platforms have responded to that as well. The head of Instagram, for example, now says that Instagram DMs, as well as sharing via messages, gives you that organic boost in their algorithm. OpenAI started serving ads within ChatGPT, and Amazon is enabling ads inside third-party chat experiences. So the signal is very clear. Messaging is becoming that new center of gravity online. Now, public feeds aren't going away, right? We're still doom scrolling whenever we got a few minutes. But the interaction that shapes trust and influences decisions seems to be going to private spaces. So that's where we believe we're best positioned. So on Snapchat, behavior looks very, very different. People aren't coming here just to mindlessly scroll. They're very intentional about their time. They're very intentional about connecting with what I call their inner circle of friends and family. And I'll give you a small example. I am a middle-aged Korean-American man. I live in West Los Angeles. I have 2 kids, a wife, and a dog. And my wife loves me very, very much. She loves me so much, she talks to me every single day. And when she talks to me, it's in a form of an Instagram DM or something shared on Snap. And it's all this great stuff around how to be a better husband or how to be a better father or how to cook the best steak, what to do on Mother's Day, right? And when my wife speaks, I listen. And it's because she's in my inner circle, right? That's the concept. That's the thing that we think is different. In fact, that shift in intent is what gives us the kind of attention that we can probably lean into as marketers. And so zooming back out to Snap, we do have scale. We have nearly 1 billion people on our platform every month. And those billion people, majority of them are Gen Z and millennials. But don't sleep on us. We're not just teenagers. I promise you. 1/3 of our platform is over 35 years old, which means they have credit cards. They have tremendous buying power. It's a myth right now, and it's kind of, I won't say it's lazy, because it's not. It's our responsibility to get that narrative out there. But I think a lot of people still look at Snap as like 2015 Snapchat. But it's not. A lot of people have aged up to the point where 1/3 of our billion users now have, the credit card to buy your products and services. So they're not just passive, by the way, and they're also very incremental. 40% of our users are not on TikTok on a daily basis. And so those are just a couple kind of myths that I think we just want to clarify. And they're not passive. Last year, they created 2 trillion snaps on our platform, and they opened the app 30 times a day. So this isn't just lean back, passive feed consumption. It's high intent, high engagement with your inner circle. So if people are coming to our app 30 times a day, how can marketers tap into that behavior? So this is where we've launched Sponsored Snaps. Sponsored Snaps is the first time that we are able to allow marketers to monetize our beloved chat feed. For the longest time, Evan did not want to put ads in our chat feed, but that's where all the eyeballs are. That's where all the users are. So we're now allowing you to serve ads within that space, and it gives you adjacency to those inner circle conversations. So think of it as moving your performance dollars out of that crowded, low attention feed and into a high intent surface where you get that adjacency towards the inner circle conversations. So the obvious question next is like, well, does this actually move the numbers? Are you just giving us another like jazz hands kind of placement? And it's not. Our intention with Sponsored Snaps was the following. We wanted to unlock incremental reach of high intent users, which we have because you couldn't get to these people prior because we didn't have ads in chat. We focused on driving lower funnel conversions, and we wanted to do it at a rate that helps hedge against those rising CACs that you're getting on the other dominant players. And so some early indications were positive. It's a whole new audience, like I said, a lot more incremental reach. So you get 20% unique reach, incremental reach on Sponsored Snaps. You get some more clickers, but this is where I got really excited. You get a 15% lift on web conversions if you opt into ads in our chat feed, Sponsored Snaps. And the other thing, so actually a couple of things, just to step back. We're really excited about this, but some might say, because I'm kind of a cynic, cup half empty, or cup half empty. We're grading our own homework, and that's not necessarily the case. I was talking to Jack, and we were asking about Bliss Point, and what Bliss Point shows around Snap, and they're showing incremental lift as well. So we're also really subscribed to your source of truth, third-party measurement to help validate these results. You add that to another component around sponsored snaps, which is unique right now, and it truly is first mover advantage. The auction is not that crowded right now. It's just not as competitive. And so the CPMs are incredibly reasonable. I'm talking like 2010 reasonable. $2 to $3 in the US or $1 for the rest of the world. And so that's really, really compelling for us because one, it's a brand new platform, brand new surface, high engaged users, anchored on performance outcomes. And right now, it is such a first mover advantage that it's a classic definition of, there's early birds seem to be getting a lot of worms right now. And so that's kind of how we're thinking about sponsored snaps. The last couple things I'll just highlight, I realize I'm talking too much. Creator ads. So creators show up very, very different on our platform versus any other platform. So a couple things. What we found was in our kind of sponsored snap chat feed, when a creator does a collab with a brand, and in this example, we had Kevin Hart do something with DraftKings, this experience is like no other. So literally, if you're on Snap and you get a message from Kevin Hart, it looks like you got a message from Kevin Hart. So the dwell time, the intention, the engagement you get, I'm kid you not, it's like no other experience I've seen anywhere else on the web. And then when you tap into it, you kind of go through the whole experience. I'll just give you a quick little snippet. So you get that video. So you get the gist, right? I mean, if you go on TikTok and you see ads that are, TikToks, sparking ads, or on Instagram with partnership ads, it is a very different experience. We're really excited about the creator ads combined with sponsored snaps. So a couple of best practices we found. A couple of things. Prioritize UGC. I know I'm preaching to the choir. If you're not doing UGC, shame on you. I'm serious. But direct-to-camera footage is critical. I love this idea of using Snap's native UI elements. For example, the native text bar, because it just feels very immersive and very natural to that Snap experience. And then keep it short and punchy. So, for us, the definition of short and punchy is under 3 minutes. But you got to make sure you have a good hook. Capture that attention in the first couple seconds, right? Quick case study here. So Contica ran sponsored snaps. They found nearly a 3x improvement in ROAS, 70% reduction in CPA, and 100% increase in purchases. So again, going back to that point, that principle that we had when we launched sponsored snaps is we wanted to focus on your business outcomes, and we're doing that, and we're seeing more and more repeatability there. The last thing I'll share with you is a new feature of sponsored snaps that we announced at Possible, and it's coming out in H2 in full production. And it's this idea called AI sponsored snaps. So one of the things that Evan and I talked about when sponsored snaps first came out was this idea that high consideration purchases are just really hard to get the message across and try and understand what the unique problem or objection that you had to handle. So AI sponsored snaps is a unique place where user taps on the ad, they see the video, and then you are now able to have one-to-one chats with that consumer, and you couldn't do that before. With chatbots and AI, now we can scale effective one-to-one communication and marketing. So to be able to have one-to-one conversations with that user, think about if you're an apparel brand, there will be some questions that come around price point. There'll be some questions that come around product or selection. You can start to curate that and start to remarket to them based on what they're asking about, or just give them all the information they need to know that hopefully that subsequently gets to a performance outcome. So we're really bullish on AI sponsored snaps. The headline there, you can now integrate your chatbot you have on your site directly into sponsored snaps. And we believe that's going to really shorten the conversion window, get users what they need so that they can make an informed decision. And hopefully we get back to growth again. That isn't so hard to do. So that's it. I think Reddit's next, right? So, and by the way, listen to Reddit and AppLovin as well, because all of us are spending 90% of our budgets on Meta and Google. It's hard. So like pressure test us and diversify your budgets. That's the only recommendation.
Thanks, Frank. Are you?